Hey everybody, as I had mentioned in my last video, I wanted to do a test drive in the 356 Porsche here. So we'll just do a quick walk around and then we'll go ahead and go for a test drive. Let's check it out. As you can tell, these cars are so cool. Just probably set the entire way for the family of 911s that would be to come. And they just have such a kind of a classic vintage look that I think most car people love. So let's go in and let's get in the car and go for a drive. Okay, everybody, we're gonna go ahead and start the car up and go for our test drive, all right? Okay, here we go. A little bit cold right now. We're still very much in winter, but we do have a dry day. So my goal was to get out and go for a drive while it's nice. And I did start it a few times during winter and had a chance to get it out on the road, but it just so easy to drive. Very smooth shifting, 4-speed shifter on the 356, which ultimately means when you're on the freeway, you're not gonna get up probably past 70. But the Porsches do have a sort of a happy place in its RPM range, and you can easily be at 4,000 RPMs, and the car really likes it from that RPM range. So as we get in and avoid traffic, it does actually get up to speed pretty quickly though. It's almost like, I've said this before, it's almost like being in a supercharged Volkswagen Bug. Most Porsche people don't like hearing that, but I did have a 1966 Volkswagen when I was a kid, and it feels a lot like driving that, to be honest with you. But there's just something so magical about the air-cooled Porsches, and realistically, it keeps up just fine with modern cars. They have no problem getting it going on a freeway. One of the stories I always like to tell when I talk about kind of Porsches is just sort of the history of Porsche and sort of how they got started with the Volkswagen and, you know, ended up moving into the early 356 family, and then sort of transitioned into the 911. Sort of this is the OG of those cars, and they still feel the same. I mean, when I'm in a 356, or when I had a Boxster at one point, or when I'm in a 911, they all feel similar. Obviously, with every year passing, they get a little bit. There's a little bit different feel, but a more modern feel, but they very much have similar driving characteristics. And but literally no lack of power for the 1963, and very comfortable to drive. And it just kind of reminds me of, well, I mean, probably like anybody else of my age, of being back in those years. I'm not old enough to have driven one of these when I was a kid, although if I had enough money I probably could have, but again, the Volkswagen family having the same feel, and just really feels, they're just really so fun to drive. Almost hard to describe unless you know what it's like to drive an older car. But the thing about Porsche is they are incredibly reliable. I think people get the feeling that, you know, they're expensive or they're German and they're gonna, you know, they're always breaking down, but all of my Porsches have been very reliable. The older cars obviously very easy to fix and very reliable, but I mean even the more modern Porsches that I have that are now 15, 20 years old have been incredibly reliable. And unlike I think a lot of the other German cars that probably have a bad reputation. So again, just an absolute joy to drive, and kind of see how much pull these cars actually have. We're gonna hit a red light here. Brakes are surprisingly good for an old car. They are drum brakes on the 356 for 1963. The Porsche 356B transitioned at 1964, so it's almost like they slowly transitioned what was going to be the 356C. And on the later models of the 356Bs, they actually have a different drum in the rear and discs in the front. So as they started to sort of come up with better solutions for braking during those years, the cars started to make those change even mid-year, which is, I think, 1964 mid-year. So, but again, for an old car and as fast as it can go, it has actually pretty good stopping power. So the sound of these cars, it's hard to describe, but and I don't know if it's gonna be the same on audio, but they just have such a cool, very recognizable sound, and that sort of actually transitioned as well because it has a lot to do with the flat engine. This is a flat 4, and obviously down the road when they started making the later models from the 912, it was a flat 4. Then they transitioned into the 911 where they made a 6-cylinder flat 6. So it has a very unique sound, and the thing about these cars, the other thing that it's maybe kind of obvious, is they're very, very sporty. They handle very well. They're low to the ground. You can kind of whip them around, and just really fun car to drive. And out of all the older cars I have, this is obviously my favorite one, but out of all the Porsches I've had, and there's different series models, but if you know the cars, I would say the favorite one that I've owned is a 964. That was a 1990 Carrera 2, or no, sorry, that was a Carrera 4, which means all-wheel drive, and that was a blast to drive, and had a very similar feeling, surprising given the age, the difference in age, but was a very fun car. So we are cruising in here. We're just finishing up this drive, and I'll make more videos the more I get used to talking, but it was fun taking you along for the ride. Thanks everybody for going along with me on that ride. As I build a channel and I do more creative content, I'll probably have be a little bit more comfortable with talking about everything, but I will say that this car is fantastic, and I'll do more video content with it. I do have some other cars, and I'll try to upload some videos here shortly within the next few days, but thanks for going along on that ride with me. And if you like the content and you want more content, please like and subscribe and hit the notifications bell, and I really appreciate it. Thanks.